Welcome everyone to the Purpose Hangtime podcast. It is your host Leo McFarlane and my co-host
Ricky Pang.
And today we have gone back to the Refining the Connection series. Our last few episodes have been based on interviews, and those interviews have had such great response. So we'd like to thank our listeners yet again for being so great and literally allowing us to pursue the main purpose of the Purpose Hangtime, which essentially is shooting the breeze with our people and shooting the breeze and having discussions that matter. Isn't that right, Rix?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't put it better myself.
So with that, and going back to the Refining the Connection series, something that has been really, really important, I think something that we really need to focus on is gratitude, especially as right now, looking outside, it is quite grey. But what am I grateful for? There's going to be rain, no flowers, right? So when it comes to that, we really need to focus and really, really look at what is the positive power that we gain and garner from being grateful. In a world where we lean more towards wants rather than needs, what are we grateful for? And I think that is a good point and a good way to start this episode. So gratitude is the simple, scientific, proven way to increase happiness and encourage greater joy, love, peace, and optimism in our lives. And I think here on the Purpose Hangtime platform, we have that in spades. That I would say so. But I don't know if Ricky, you agree with that. But I think to be able to have a platform where we can connect with listeners, viewers, patrons, and be able to just have these discussions that matter is so important. So may we continue with that. So, as this is the gratitude episode, let's move forward with a definition. So, Rix, I'm going to put that ball in your court. What is the definition of gratitude?
You can define gratitude as just the quality of being thankful in general. You know, it's kind of having that readiness and willingness to show appreciation for things that are, you know, good in life, and not only to be able to show appreciation for, but also to be able to give back that appreciation and that kindness that you receive.
Yeah, and would you say that, I know we just literally started with the definition and we haven't started to shoot the breeze yet because we've got some more information to go through.
Yeah.
But with gratitude, why do you think it is something that is widespread, or do you think it's scarce?
I mean, that is a great question. I mean, put me on the spot. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think it's the world today as it is, I think it's quite scarce. I think people have this. I have more of a negative mindset than a positive mindset in general. They always seem to look at the negative aspects of what's going on in their life without looking at what are the possible silver linings, or the possible positive outcomes that can arise from whatever they're facing. But the thing is, it's easier said than done, right? At the end, to be able to show gratitude, it's not like you read a manual and you could just implement it right away. It has to come from within, and it has to be something that you're kind of really willing to kind of believe in yourself and have that mindset.
Yeah, and I think it is so easy to have a negative mindset, especially in a world where you turn on the TV, you look at the news. How often do we see, let's say, a fireman has saved a puppy, or this person has saved all these people's lives in a war-torn country? You don't really see that too often, and it's really, really focused on the negative aspects on life because that's what garners people's attention. And it's a sad fact, but then it perpetuates the reason why we have this episode today and why it's important that we do talk about gratitude. So, viewers, listeners, audience, let me just go over a quick background to the other reasons why we thought that this would be a good episode to focus on. So we've had 4 interview episodes. We've had myself being interviewed on divorce. We have had Ricky being interviewed in terms of his relocation and starting a new job and the challenges that came with that. We've had Gabrielle, my partner, who has been interviewed in terms of her aspects when it's come to being a partner and being connected to someone who is going through a divorce and starting afresh. And then we've also had Natalie, who talked about her relationship and knowing when it's the end, Nap's relationship theory realized.
Yeah.
What is so important about having those 4 interviews, those 4 episodes, is that we've had individuals that have trusted us with their stories. We've had individuals that have their trust in the platform and are happy to push forward and discuss, be open, be vulnerable, and be accountable with a story. And I think that's such an amazing thing. And when it comes to connection, whether it's platonic, whether that's romantic, whether that's familial, it's being grateful to have those connections, because that's what really pushes us forward in life, when we have those positive connections as well. So essentially, this episode is a big thank you to those individuals that have interviewed with us in the past, interviewed with us in the present, and those who will be coming in the future, because we have quite a few individuals put on the interview matrix for the purpose Hangtime. So I look really forward to sharing that in the upcoming episodes as well. So yeah, so that's how it started. And then it made me think, do we realize how lucky we are as individuals? I look at my life, and I'm sure, Ricky, you look at your life, and it's, you know what, okay, sometimes we may be having a bad day, whether it's work, whether it's we can't get the podcast running correctly due to technical difficulties. Yeah. But how grateful are we really? And I think that's something that it'd be really, really good to delve into when we shoot the breeze a bit later on. And then on top of that, do we complain too much? Do we have too many first world issues that we like to complain about? And then also, are the causes of stress basically all down to us not being aware of what goes well? What are the positive aspects that happen in our lives? Are we minimizing our positive accolades? Yeah. So does that mean practicing gratitude gets us into a better place and a better headspace? And I think these are all things that we will delve into. So first, we're going to go with a reference. So Ricky, if you want to hit us with that reference in regards to gratitude, we have some professionals that we need to name in true purpose Hangtime fashion.
Exactly. So big shout out to Dr. Robert Emmons, who is the world's leading scientific expert on gratitude, having written multiple books on the subject matter itself, such as The Little Bit of Gratitude. So if you want to learn more, you can always go over to Amazon and buy his book. So, you know, free plug for you, Dr. Robert Emmons, if you're listening, hopefully. But what he basically stated that the feeling of gratitude involves 2 stages. And number 1, it's really the acknowledgement of everything that is good in your life. In a state of gratitude, we say yes to life itself. It's basically an affirmation that, all in all, life is good and that there are some elements in your life that make it worth living. And it's really that acknowledgement that we have received something that gratifies us, both by its presence, but also by the effort the giver put into choosing it there as well. And the second point he mentioned is that gratitude is really recognizing that source of goodness cannot come from oneself. It lies outside yourself and it's external factors. So you could be, for example, grateful, and you mentioned it, Leon, you know, for your friends, your family, romantic partners, lovers, you know, even the world itself. You know, look how beautiful the world itself. Look how, you know, grateful you are to be living in and being part of this beautiful world there as well. So, you know, it's really just about recognizing the goodness and who to thank for it and where it comes from.
Yeah, thanks for that, Rex. Yeah, I think it's very, very important to understand that it's the self-love, it's being grateful for the things that we definitely overlook, and then also being the willingness to accept kindness as well. And as it's a two-way thing, it's an energy transfer, right? Positive energy has to circle. And if you keep yourself in the positive energy loop, then you definitely can push forward with positive manifestations, which I think is another episode as well. And yeah, it's very important when it comes to mindset, mental health, that we do look at the benefits of gratitude. So I'm going to just rattle through a quick list of what gratitude can do for you. What are the positive outcomes? So gratitude can make you more patient. Now, I'm known to certain people as being the patron saint of patience. Would I say it's due to my gratitude?
I can attest to that.
Maybe. But I think that patience is it's a powerful quality to have, and it reduces stress. So in terms of the second point, gratitude might improve your relationship. Now, we say might, it also depends. As I've mentioned before, positive energy, if it's given and it's received, then you essentially are in a positive silo, and then you can improve it fully. Gratitude improves self-care. Yes, by being able to look outside and say, you know what, it may be a grey day, but we have sunshine, we can breathe oxygen, we have the money to at least do what we need to do, we're sheltered, we have good internet connections. It improves self-care. Gratitude can help you sleep. I like that one because literally, if you can go to sleep, if you can rest and you have a sound, positive mind, you're not being kept up by negative thoughts, it means that when you do pass into the abyss, which is what I like to do when I sleep and get the high quality of sleep, it doesn't take long. So yeah, gratitude may stop you from overeating. I guess if you've got a positive mind and there's no reason for overeating, and the links that come with that, it puts you in a nice normalized place mentally. And gratitude can ease depression. Yet again, depression is a large overarching and scoping syndrome that, these are just the simple benefits. But in terms of what can help alleviate certain things, and yet again, depression is on a continuum.
Yeah.
It can help you to at least be positive and put yourself in a positive state. So I'm just going to go through that quick list again because I've just rattled through them. Gratitude can make you more patient. It might improve your relationships. It improves self-care. It can help you sleep. It can stop you from overeating. And it can ease depression. So with all of those, if you can garner or harness a balance, or you can put yourself in a positive scope that prevents a lot of the negatives, but then allows you to also build upon those positives. Why aren't we practicing gratitude more? You know, why is this not an important thing that we teach our children in schools? Why is it not something that as individuals we practice mindfulness on? But I think that there is definitely a good push towards mindfulness in general when it comes to the practice of gratitude. So
exactly.
After going through those benefits, let's go through some quick statistics. Like, these are just quick ones that we found on the net, and we thought that they were quite important when it comes to the purpose Hangtime and what we stand for. So let's go to a quick statistic from Harvard University and Wharton. A study showed that receiving a thank you from a supervisor, so this is us talking about being at work, or actually this could even be on the playing field, this could be if you're playing football, if you're playing rugby, it could be anywhere in life. It showed that receiving that thank you improved productivity by more than 50%. Yet again, it all goes back to positivity and that positive mantra at the end of the day. If someone is showing gratitude to you that makes you feel more valued, you are more likely to do something. Quite a logical way of thinking, but it is very, very true. If someone is going to promote you or boost you up mentally, then you are more likely to follow through. So that was one thing that I thought was pretty good. And then the second statistic, research shows that practicing gratitude 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for at least 6 weeks can enhance your mental well-being and possibly promote a lasting change in perspective. And I think that's the main thing here, right, Rex? It's about changing perspective, being open, being vulnerable, and being accountable for what we consume. If we're consuming more positive and mindful attributes or mindful phenomena, factors, we are more likely going to be positive. So I think that those are two great statistics that I think resonate with us at the Purpose Hangtime. So yeah, that essentially is that. So we get to the part that everyone likes to look out for and listen to when it comes to the Purpose Hang Time, and that's us shooting the breeze, which I think is something that we continue to strive and continue to move forward with. So I guess with that, as I've been talking for a good 5 to 10 minutes, Ricky, in terms of gratitude, what are you grateful for?
I mean, right off the top of my head, my family. You know, I'm just so grateful for them for always loving me, being supportive, always being there for me. And I think sometimes we take our family for granted, right? We sometimes think they're always going to be there for us. They're always, going to support us. But you never know what tomorrow can bring. And it's important to be able to really be grateful and appreciate your family here now in the moment, and really being able to be open to receiving that warmth of love you feel from them, but also being able to give it back to them in gesture as well. So I think family for me, and especially coming from an Asian or an Oriental background, family for me is everything. So they're the most important thing in my life for me. Second being friends as well. And then you mentioned there, Leon, gratitude can help ease depression. Going back to my personal episode on depression, cheap plug, by the way, if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and listen to it. When I was at that low point in my life, and suffering from bouts of depression, it was, friends. Like, I always would be so grateful for the St. George's crew. I know all the St. George's crew listen to our podcast, but I just want to say I'm really grateful, thankful for you guys. When you guys came over to Copenhagen last summer, and you spent some time with me, we really caught up. That was something that I'm grateful for. My other friends back in the UK, they know who they are. Too long of a list to shout out every individual. But I just want to know to everyone, all my friends there back in the UK, I'm really grateful for your love and your support, and for always being there for me as well. And in a weird way, like you and we kind of mentioned it before earlier in the podcast, right? It's always trying to find a silver lining in every situation. Being laid off. Now you may think like, what? You're actually grateful for being laid off? And I'd say, yeah, I am, looking back on it. By having to go through that experience, and it was the first time I've ever been through that experience, it taught me to evolve and grow, to be stronger mentally and emotionally, right? And if I didn't have to go through that, I also wouldn't have known that I really want to stay here in Denmark. So I'm actually grateful that, in a way, for being laid off, it kind of forced me to kind of reflect, do I want to go back to the UK or do I really want to stay here? And I chose I really want to stay here. But also, now, this is the first time you've ever been laid off, and it's kind of, a first time in a long while that you're actively looking for a job, going through interviews, job hunt, connecting with people, recruiters and stuff. And that taught me so much in a practical sense, how to be better at interviews, for example, how to be better prepped for interviews, but also being able to speak to various people around, what is it that you're looking for, how would you portray yourself to the outside business world, and so that really taught me a lot. And finally, I mean, I've only just met her. It's very, very recent. It's in the premature stage, you could say, right? But I'm actually thankful for someone that I've just recently met in my life. I mean, we discussed this before. I mean, my close friends would know who she is. But I'm really grateful for her to have known her, even though it's been very, very short and I don't know where it's going to go. But for the time I've known her, I'm grateful for her because she just brings like that kind of happiness, laughter to my life, and that sense of appreciation, right?
Yeah.
It's two-way. So I appreciate her. She appreciates me with the same level of interest, same level of appreciation. And yeah, I mean, there are days that go by which, I can't wait to see her again next. So I'm actually thankful for that. Thankful to her. I mean, I'm not sure if she's going to listen to this, but that's some of the things I'm thankful for.
Yeah, so essentially it's understanding the things that make the difference, and it's viewing life in a scope where it's not to say we're not taking things seriously, but what makes life more peaceful, what gives us purpose, is things like that. So now it shows the people or the individuals who are impactful in your life, which, is always a good thing to sit back and reflect. And that's what's great about this episode, where it allows us to sit back, reflect, and just really, really garner that energy.
Yeah, I've shared my story now. What about you, Liam? What are some of the things you're grateful for?
Well, in terms of so I reflect a lot, as you already know, and as obviously our audience knows. I'm grateful. Let's start off with the simpler things, right?
Yeah.
Being able to have a roof over my head, knowing that bills are paid for, knowing that I have a job. These are the simple things that most of us normally overlook with the allure of, oh, you know what, that person over there on Instagram, they're on 6 figures. Why don't I have that? But for me, it's more, okay, I do have something tangible, or I see numbers in the bank account which allows me and enables me to carry out certain things. So that's the first thing. And then if we strip it down even more simpler, to be able to wake up and see a beautiful morning, a beautiful Sunday morning at that. It's important, but we, due to just life, especially in a first world country, where everything is focused on all these other things that don't particularly matter, those simple things such as waking up, seeing a sunrise, breathing oxygen, and not having to stress about these things or know where the next meal comes from. That's the first thing that I'm grateful for. Gabrielle, like, obviously you've shameless plug to go back to that interview as well. Gabrielle has been an amazing positive influence when it has come to life, when it's come to my life. And even thinking about the magic of the leather jacket story and how that manifested literally out of nothing makes me truly believe that in this world anything can happen as long as you put positive energy towards it, and it's more likely to happen if you are in a positive mindset and you practice gratitude. It's a big universe out there where there are things that we don't understand, and I think the more that you perpetuate and portray that positive energy and mantra, that works like a magnet. As long as you're clear about what you do want. And this is me shamelessly plugging back to her episode about being clear, but then be flexible. Be clear of the goal, but then be flexible about how you're going to obtain it. Anything can happen. So I'm grateful for her and just continuously helping us as our unofficial creative director, pushing us towards making sure we continue with this podcast in its vein and just being consistent.
Would you also say you're grateful for the leather jacket as well? Because you've mentioned it multiple times, right?
Yeah, the leather jacket is the MacGuffin of this story. It's the thing that just always appears and it's always there. If I feel I need a little sprinklers of that pixie dust, I just wear the leather jacket and it just reminds me of great times. That's positivity right there. So
yeah, and the takeaway from that, guys, is get yourself a goddamn leather jacket.
Get yourself a leather jacket and think positive things, or get yourself a favorite item of clothing and just call it a lucky item, because that's all it takes sometimes for things to happen. So you've got that, and then on the focus of silver lining, I am thankful for my ex-wife and I'm thankful for the divorce. Now, not in the way of that I wanted it to go in a bad way, but I'm thankful for all the travel and all the different views of the world and the continents that we've been on. And I'm thankful that she injected, obviously when things were good, fun and excitement into my life. My 20s were a fun time. I can't really complain in terms of that. Obviously there was downsides, but that's what we learn from, the success from the failure, right? And in terms of the divorce and going through that process, if that didn't happen, Gabrielle would not be here. So there's all these different all these different things that had to happen to get us to this point today. Would the podcast exist if it wasn't for the divorce or you moving over to Denmark? Probably not. So I'm grateful for that as well. And then even when it comes to things such as us having, we're on the 17th official episode. We get emails from individuals on LinkedIn or just directly to our email, basically saying, oh, you guys have quite a few podcast episodes. This is impressive. So having that reach and being able to talk to our viewers directly like we are today, having YouTube, having all the technical expertise, fast internet, we're able to do a lot of stuff. And if we were to look back in medieval times, this would be seen as witchcraft, right?
Yeah.
To be able to portray ourselves so far across the net. So yeah, so that, parents, my late dad, who no longer is with us, but has given the business acumen to me, and I'm forever grateful for that. So his legacy lasts throughout. My mum being so patient, so that's where I get my patience from. She gave up her work, her line of work, to make sure that I was looked after and get to the space where I am today. So there's many, many, many things to be grateful for, having a massive family as well. And then work opportunities. If I was to, I know I'm rolling off a long list, but yeah, work opportunities. I managed to go to Uganda for free with my work with Imperial 2 years ago. And I think what was so magical about that, I never really had a specific view on sub-Saharan Africa, but going over there and seeing how simple life can be, and where we'll be talking about podcasts and other side hustles such as selling stuff on eBay, their side hustles are selling goats. And I think there's a beauty to life being a lot more simple, living off the land and living cleaner. And I think that's something that we definitely miss in a first world country. So all of the benefits from that long list that I rattled through there, I think is very, very, very important when it comes to gratitude and manifesting certain things in our lives. And I think it also keeps us more balanced as humans, and it refines our connection, because if you're open and you can talk about these things that have happened in your life and the gravity that comes with it, is also important. So yeah, mate, those are the things that I am really, really grateful for. It's built me into the human being that I am today. But obviously, just like in true purpose Hangtime fashion, there's always things to work on. Always things to work on.
Absolutely.
So I guess with that, how can we improve and practice gratitude more? Rix, any insight?
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before in previous episodes. Journaling and self-reflection, basically taking that time out during the day, during the week, during the month, or even during a year, just to really kind of sit down and detach yourself from kind of the world, where you go into your own zone. And writing things down is always helpful. We've kind of preached about this before, but being able to put your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your ideas, pen to paper, you know, it's something that's really, really powerful and understated. So yeah, I mean, if you can, buy yourself a blank journal and just really start jotting down what you're grateful for, and just make a list and read over that every single day. In that regard,
Yeah,
you could also write
Yeah, so I keep a gratitude journal, which I call my daily wins book. So whenever I feel this is something new I started off this year, but whenever I feel like I haven't achieved too much, because I know I'm very metric based when it comes to my thoughts and feelings, I just have a simple book like this where I just jot down a few things and basically just say, you know what, these are my wins for today. Now I can look at the end of the week, reflect back and say, you know what, I actually have won this week by just simply being able to wake up specifically at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, manage to get a whole heap of stuff done. And the wins don't have to be big accolades such as, oh, I managed to present to the C-suite this week. It could be things like, I woke up and I went for a run, or I woke up and I managed to tidy up the whole flat to make sure that my mindset is more improved and refined. And when it comes to the wins and the gratitude, it's personal. And I think that's something that is lovely, and it doesn't have to be shared with anyone. That can be something that is just dedicated to you, whether it's on a kitchen table or whether it's in a drawer.
Yeah,
Very important.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, and we've said it before. Being able to, be successful in life, and everyone measures success differently, but it's consistency, always taking that small steps every day. And when you break it down, celebrating the small wins would eventually turn into larger wins, or help you achieve your overall arching goal that you want to get to. You could also write gratitude letters as well. Just simply getting a piece of paper and just writing a letter to someone. You don't even have to send it. You just have it there. It really conveys an appreciation for someone in your life. Now that could be either your mum, your dad, your friends, your romantic partners. It doesn't even have to be human. It can just be the world itself. I'm grateful that I'm a part of this world at the moment.
Yeah.
And that again, the strength of putting pen to paper, it's something that we really believe in, and it's something that we don't want to preach to anyone that you have to do this, but it's something that we both of us would recommend if in that aspect. And then we've also got just refining and building the connection, right? And that goes back to Frat Fridays, which we host at yours, and it's great. I mean, we've known the Bevan boys for how long now? It's been what?
So we've known them, if we're in 2024, we would have known people from secondary school from 2002, I believe. So yeah, that's when we would have been 11, I guess, at that time. So it's been more than 20 years, which is actually quite insane. But what and I'm taking this point away from you, Rix.
Yeah.
But it's great to be able to host an event, and essentially what I normally do, family home, bring all the boys over, and this is all the people that we've known from secondary school and known for 20 plus years, and we sit and chat. Now, it's not segregated, and it's not only just for boys, and we just call it Fraternity Friday because that's how it started off. But it allows everyone to chat, mingle with each other, and essentially show how grateful we are for one another, and just being in each other's presence. We don't need to go to a bar. We don't need to go to a club. We don't need a night out. We just literally need sheltered, warm space where we can bring alcohol if that's what we want to do, or we can bring some food, and literally as guys and gals, because Fraternity Friday actually turned to Sensational Saturdays now to be more inclusive. But yeah, let's just sit, chat, and just be amongst each other and talk about the positive attributes and the negative stuff that's happened in life. I think that it's a good way to discuss and really see other people's mindset or opinion on certain things, because we're all talented individuals in our respective fields, and it's always good to have another ear to listen to, or speak to another ear, or another person to talk to.
Exactly. And then finally, just being mindful. Just being mindful and self-aware, and whether that could be, through methods of meditation, for example, taking your time out just to, again, detach yourself from the world itself, and really kind of connect with yourself in here. I mean, the way I like to do it is, and people call me crazy sometimes, is my where I currently work, the office is maybe an hour and 20 minutes away from where I am. I actually like to cycle to work, and that's a good 18-90 kilometers each way.
That's a big distance.
Yeah, well, people that know me, I hate the gym. I think it's just just going on machines. It's the same boring routine every single day. Whereas when I'm riding my bike, I know for the gym goers out there,
because I love the
come
gym.
At me. All right, there you go. But I think for me, being able to just to hop on my bike, put my earphones in, and just that's kind of the me time, and that's where I'm mindful of everything. Obviously, I've got to be mindful of the traffic, so don't worry, I'm always mindful of that. But also being mindful of the world itself at the moment. I'm cycling in Denmark, I'm grateful for Denmark. I'm grateful to be in Denmark. I'm also, grateful to be able to connect to my own feelings and emotions and really, draw out, what's important in my life and how I should continue to appreciate that. So, yeah, those are some of the things you could do to improve and practice gratitude there as well.
Yeah, and I think even because what I like to do, especially with Gabrielle, or if I am by actually, well, yeah, more with Gabrielle, is go for walks in the park or go for walks where there is outstanding vistas of nature. Because there's just something about being around life, being around. When I say life, not animals, not people, but just being able to just sit back and reflect, but around nature. There's something that's so calming and cathartic about that. Because even with the last, we were on annual leave, we spent some time away. Was it just outside a major city in the UK, and literally it was 4 kilometers of golf courses, all green, no cars, and it was just something about that escape. It reminded me of Uganda, just being away from that metropolitan lifestyle. It just allows you to slow things down a bit, and when things are a bit slower, it allows you to really reflect, just be grateful for the ability to be able to do that, because ultimately we are rich as individuals when it comes to being rich in experience, rich in friendships, or rich in connections.
And we do have a actually special something for our listeners there, actually. And there's actually a link which we'll provide in the episode description, both on Spotify and on YouTube and also social media. But it's 3 gratitude exercises you can actually download and fill out yourself, which would help there as well. So yeah, listeners, if you want to start practicing, download from that link. We'll post, and let us know how it goes, and let us know if it actually helped. But I think in true Purpose Hangtime fashion there, Leon, we love a good quote, don't we?
Yes, we do. So today's quote is from Marcus Tullius Cicero, and the quote is, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but it's the parent of all others." I'm going to read that one again. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. And I would assume from that, it's more on the basis of it has this knock-on effect. If you're grateful for things that are happening in life, positive things are going to happen. And you generally put yourself in an aura of calm, of peace, of reflection, and ultimately of gratitude. So yeah. So listeners, folks, audience, that was our gratitude episode. We are thankful for the continuous support, the subscribers, and the continuous energy that we receive, the feedback for our episodes, and maybe continue to shoot the breeze with you all and shoot the breeze with each other when it comes to the discussions that matter.